Today I fucked up helping an old lady. There I was, riding my bicycle to work this morning when I noticed an old woman apparently having a full-on seizure. She was laying on the pavement with her eyes squeezed shut while her entire body was trembling uncontrollably. Based on what she was wearing and the cardboard bed between her and the ground, it was clear the old woman was homeless. I quickly approached the old woman and asked if she could hear me. She snapped her eyes open and looked at me as if I did something to offend her. I asked the old woman if she was okay and if I should call an ambulance. She suddenly stood up in anger, shoved her hand down her pants, and pulled out a vibrator that was barely buzzing. Cut to me riding my bicycle as fast I could while the old woman chased me down the fucking street with a low-powered vibrator. Still not sure what prompted the chase. All I remember was looking over my shoulder and realizing my ass was being hunted by a horny old hag with an unholy amount of stamina for her age. It was terrifying. I have absolutely no idea when or where I managed to lose the old lady, but at some point I looked behind me and saw no sign of her anywhere. I didn't trust that she was really gone, so I continued to ride my bike without slowing down. Carried on at full speed all the way to work, which is where I am right now. I will never look at a vibrator the same way again. TL doctor thought I had to save the life of an old homeless woman who seemed to be having a seizure, but it turned out she was just pleasuring herself before my presence provoked her into chasing me down the street with the vibrator that was inside her. What the actual fuck? Why did she show you? She should have screamed gibberish or just said she's fine. But we have to admit being homeless and the situation surrounding that isn't good for mental health. Still, smiley face. I've never once thought about how inconvenient it would be to be homeless and want to get your rocks off. This is something I probably never wanted to know, but thanks, smiley face. I guess when the need overwhelms you. I remember this time my mom and I were in Walmart, about 15 years ago, and had to use the restroom. Only 3 stalls. In the biggest one, there was a lady going to town. I mean moaning, moving, it was insane. Even flushing the toilets didn't deter her. We finished, washed our hands, and headed out. My mom decided to wait around a while and see who it was. Couple minutes later the bell ringer for Salvation Army donations walked out. Old ass lady. It ruined me a bit. Lol, I thought you said you washed your hands and then helped out. Lol, oops. You should have offered to buy her some batteries. Today I fucked up by masturbating to my best friend. To start of I, 19M, have a best friend 19F. Let's call her Jess. Me and Jess since we were kids. At least 10 years now. We always got each other's backs. We would always go to each other's house and both of one of our family members worked at the YMCA, so I saw her there sometimes. Every 4th of July we'd go to my grandpa's house. At one point in time I used to have a crush on her. That died down as I didn't want to ruin our friendship. Fast forward to 2019 and we've gotten pretty busy, but we still hang sometimes. At one point we were at the same community college, but I switched schools. During that time I started to like her again. But she had a boyfriend and me and him were cool. She starts having problems with him and asks me for advice. He wonders if she should break up with him. I incite towards yes because I'm selfish, but also because what she said about him made him seem bad. Though they should talk. They did in fact break up though, and now she's single. She's always posting on her Insta about self-love and how she wants a man. I was still too afraid and didn't want anything to change. Fast forward to 2020 and those feelings have gone again. When she heard my grandmother died, she came over straight away and brought my favorite McDonald's. I hugged her and we gamed a bit and she left. In present day I was scrolling through Reddit and I felt lacking whacking the old Johnson. So I scroll through and save a couple of posts, making sure the last one I save is the best. Well, it was, and also it wasn't. I saw some ass and I saved it and only watched 4 seconds so I could enjoy it last, which is why I didn't know it was her. So here I go whacking it, having a good time. I scroll to the next saved post and I slow down a little because I'm close. I'm on my last 2 posts and I start to finish. I get to her post and I'm watching her ass and not her surroundings, and boom, I finished. I really liked the last post so I screen recorded to save for later. That's when I begin to look at the features. She was in a shower shaking her ass and then starts to finger herself. And use doesn't turn around the entire time, so all I see is the back of her. I notice a tattoo on the base of her neck and I pause. I keep looking and remember who has that tattoo. My best friend. I freak out a bit. I look at the curtains and the surroundings and they all match her bathroom. Because it is her bathroom. I came to the realization that my best friend was on Reddit and she did stuff like this. Didn't know what to think. It kind of rose my feelings again, but in a more sexual way. I couldn't stop looking at her video, and it was only one that I found, as the comments said she deleted her profile. It would seem she used a stage name when she posted though. I was traumatized. What was I supposed to do? Just keep this to myself? Obviously she wanted to delete all of it but didn't delete the posts themselves and just her profile. I decided to go over her house, which is basically my second home. She opened up and I walked to the bathroom. Everything was exactly the same. I was in complete shock as a video I had whacked of to happened right in front of me. I decided to confront her. We went into her room and sat on her bed. Nonchalantly asked her if she had read it. Her face lit up like the 4th of July and she got really nervous. She said yes and why, but in a defensive tone. I said I saw a video and I assume you know what I'm talking about. She said you saw me naked didn't you, and put her face in her pillow. Said yes and that I may have whacked off to it. She said that this was embarrassing and it would be awkward for a while and she needed space. I jokingly said nice ass by the way as I got up, and she laughed and cried at the same time in her pillow. I told her I don't think any less of her for posting stuff like that and she said thank you and cried some more. I confessed that I used to like her and cried and said really. I said yes and she cried some more. I said I'm gonna get going and she said you know I love you right, in a best friend type of way of course. I said I know, and said in a funny tone love you too best friend like we always do. She was crying in her pillow and I walked out the door feeling lifted and also sad that I left her there. Will update. Too long didn't read. Masturbated to a video my best friend of 10 years without knowing it. When I realized I was shocked and confronted her, to which she started crying and needs space from me for a bit. Today you really did awkwardly fuck up, Hoss. Yeah, saying you saw it is one thing. Telling her you spanked it as well. Maybe too much, even for besties. Did you really have to tell her Lamau? I cringed so hard I may have pulled something in my neck. My condolences. Oh boy. Saying that you whacked for her, it's a bit odd. I wanna know what happens next. I'm a truthful person so I say it how it is. Plus we've been friends for 10 years. Today I fucked up by clipping my toddler's toenails. Happened yesterday. Fuck up began when my 2-year-old scratched my leg with his toenail and I decided they needed to be cut on the spot. 2-year-olds squirm when getting their nails cut, at least mine does, so I was focused on doing the job as swiftly and effectively as possible. On the second foot, I got to the ring toe and when I cut the nail, it came flying up into my eye. Shaken, I pulled back and winced, followed by maybe 30 to 60 seconds of eye-watering before I blinked it off and resumed clipping the rest of the toenails. This was shortly after lunchtime, so somewhere around 1 p.m. Fast forward to 9 p.m, I'm getting out of the shower and my eye starts hurting bad. I'd had a few moments throughout the day where I'd had my eye water, and I thought hope I didn't scratch my eye and didn't think much else of it. But now, getting out of the shower, I can barely keep my eye open. Something's not right. I get a Q-tip and turn the bright light on and go to the mirror. I wipe some eye makeup out of the corner of my eye, but when I pull the corner of my lid I can tell there is something in my eye. Under my bottom lid I see it, the toddler toenail laid against my eyeball, curve fitting just perfectly. I was able to easily fish it out, and thankfully I don't seem to have any major scratches/damage. But I'm haunted by the fact that I walked around for roughly 8 hours with a toddler toenail in my eye. Too long didn't read, got 2-year-old toddler toenail clipping in my eye and took 8 hours to realize and remove it. I never ever read these whole posts. Why was this the horror show I decided to invest some time in? I also have a 2-year-old and now that dirty monster can just grow his toenails out forever. I was expecting you to say you'd cut them too short and made him bleed. I did that with my first kid's fingernails. Traumatic. But this, not good. Oh good lord, why? I see you didn't quite nail it. / make me suffer. Can't find a better way to describe this post.